Week 16 of the Flex. I'm Dustin. Welcome to Fantasy Smack Talk. The Fantasy Championship week is here. Couldn't be more excited. Lots of stuff going on. Got some Flex questions for you. These came straight from the waiver wire show. We will be doing a good amount of off-season videos, so be sure to subscribe, hit the notification button if you haven't already. So, we'll be shooting those a little bit after the season, after the fantasy season, just some recap videos, and then it won't be long before we're already looking forward to the next season. So, let's get into what we got for Week 16. First one comes from David Chillin. Flex question, we got Brandon Cooks or Philip Lindsey in a PPR. I do fully expect the Rams offense to have a good game this week, but you look at the game script in that one, it's possible they could get up early, their defense could win that game for them. So I just don't see why you shy away from the Pro Bowler, Philip Lindsey. I know he's coming off of a bad Week 15, or not a very great Week 15, but I like Philip Lindsey. I think he's a safer play. I think you stick with the running back here. Jake Chiasin, half PPR. Should we go with Golladay? Baldwin coming off the big game, or McGuire in the flex? This one's tough. I mean, Baldwin finally had a very solid game, Week 15. Was fine in the end zone. McGuire's looked pretty good since coming over, but Golladay had a really good game Week 15 as well. And I just think he's who I'm going with here. I think I trust him the most. I think he probably gets the most targets out of this group. Baldwin, it was a good game. I've always been a Baldwin fan, but it just still scares me just a little bit just because he's been so inconsistent this year. And I do think McGuire has a decent floor, but Golladay, I think his ceiling is higher than both of these guys, and he has just as high a floor. I'm going Golladay here, even though, Minnesota, not the easiest matchup in the world, but I do think Golladay will have a solid week. So I'm going with him this week. I think he's your safest bet. Ash Mullah. We got Derrick Henry. We got Julian Edelman, Damian Williams, or Marlon Mack in a PPR league. Some decent options here, and obviously in a PPR league, Edelman is going to be your safest bet here with Josh Gordon out of the picture now. But are you really going to pass on the upside of Derrick Henry? I mean, what he's done over the last couple of weeks is just absurd. I don't see how you bench Derrick Henry. I mean, the upside's too high. If you're the heavy favorite, I do think he has a lower floor than Edelman if Henry goes back to what he was doing for 85% of the season. So if you think you're the heavy favorite and you just want to save points from Edelman, that's the only way I think I would do Edelman over Henry here, just because the upside to Henry is too high after what he's done over the last couple weeks. Diesel 215, Ballage versus the Jags, or Mike Williams versus the Ravens, standard league. I talked about it in the ranking show with Mike Williams, not to get too crazy with who you start him over this week, after his big game Week 15. But I think this is about the right range in terms of, a running back versus receiver. Where does Mike Williams fit in? And Ballage seems to make sense in terms of okay, that's a tough decision. So if Keenan Allen plays, I think you definitely go with the running back. But if he doesn't, that makes it very tricky. I think in a standard league, we saw what Mike Williams was doing, getting in the end zone. He can go up and get the ball. I think he's definitely going to be getting some red zone targets if Keenan Allen sits. And I mean, even if he doesn't sit, he might. But I just think if Keenan Allen sits, you go with Mike Williams. If not, go with Ballage. I think Ballage is a little scary, not the easiest matchup, but he did look good last week, and Drake might factor in, but I do think he will get the majority of the carries. Guillermo Hernandez, Samuels, or Eric Ebron in their tight end. I guess this is their tight end spot. Could be a flex spot. It's in a standard league. So it's tough. I mean, Ebron in standard leagues is a beast just because of his touchdown potential, and he has not been shy of scoring touchdowns this year. Obviously, if you started him last week, you weren't happy. But if Connor doesn't play, I think you got to go Samuels. His floor is just so high. He shot just as high of an upside as Ebron, I feel. And it's just so nice, you know, having that flexibility to start, you know, Samuels if this is the tight end spot. It's just nice being able to plug him in there. I just think Samuels is your way to go here if Connor ends up sitting. So Ebron, could he have a big game? Of course, but, you know, could he go for another 1 catch for 8-yard game? He could. So I'm saying Samuels here. So that's who I'm going with. So that's it. That's week 16 of the Flex. I hope everyone has a great championship week, a great Christmas, and like I said, we'll be back in just a few weeks with some more content. So good luck in the championship.